this one, you're in this one.
Good evening. I call the July 16, 2024 meeting of the Sarpy County Planning Commission to order. Ms. Timby, can we please have roll call?
Ackley,
Here.
Vernock,
Here.
Matea,
Here.
Van Wielden,
Here.
Whitfield,
Here.
Huddleston,
Here.
Dembinski. Here. Giff,
Here.
Weiss, Preston. We have a quorum.
I invite you now to join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a public meeting subject to the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A current copy of the law is located on the north wall of this room. Please feel free to review the law before making any comments. I'd like to do an introduction of planning staff and legal counsel. Don Simon, Planning Director. Kelly Jeck, Planning Coordinator. Julie Ogden from JEO, Planning Department Consultant. Kayla Hathcote, Deputy County Attorney. Lisa Timby, Permit Technician. And Jose Garcia, IT Support Specialist. The first order of business is to approve the minutes from the prior meeting. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes of May 21, 2024.
Motion to approve is written.
I'll second it.
Who seconded? I'm sorry. Okay.
Marty.
Please vote. Seven yeas, one abstained, Whitfield, absent, Weiss, and Preston. Motion carried.
Okay, let's move on to the public hearing portion of the meeting. Each agenda item will adhere to the following format as detailed in the Sarpy County Commissioners' bylaws. The planning staff will introduce and briefly explain the agenda item. The applicant or the applicant's representatives will be given 5 minutes to provide information about the project to the Commission. After the applicant's presentation, I'll open the floor to public comment. Please keep your comments relevant to the agenda item, and to keep the meeting moving, please avoid repeating what others have already said. Once all parties that wish to speak have done so, I'll close the public comment portion of the agenda item. The applicant or applicant's representative can respond to any questions or concerns raised and rebut any comments. Next, I'll close the public hearing and members of the Planning Commission will discuss the agenda item. During this discussion, the Commissioners may ask questions of anyone involved in the project. There is no requirement for rebuttal from others. There is also no time limit for this discussion. The first item on the regular agenda is a public hearing and recommendation. Planning Department will present the application. Would the applicant or representative like to address the board? I'll now open the public hearing item, and invite you to give input. If there's anyone else who'd like to address the board, then I'll close it. If there's no further discussion, I'll ask for a motion. Okay, our first public Our first item tonight is a public hearing and recommendation for Woodsonia 204 Harrison LLC. Has submitted applications for consideration of a rezoning from RD50 two-family residential district to RG15 PTD general residential district and planned townhome development. A revised preliminary plat and final plat for this subdivision as in the record. I will not go through all of the various lot numbers and subplots as they are all already in our record.
All right, good evening, Chairman and Planning Commission. Julie Ogden with JEO. I will do my best to do a brief summary, as the Chairman had mentioned before. What we've got before you tonight is a rezoning, a revised preliminary plat, and a final plat for what has been titled Sunset Meadows Replat 2. It is a 31-lot subdivision, which would include 2 single-family homes and up to 134 townhome lots. This would replat 76 single-family lots from the original Sunset Meadows platting, which was done back in November of 2021. For those of you who have been on the commission for a little while, there was Sunset Meadows Replat 1 in May of 2022 that converted 64 single-family lots to 118 townhomes. If you've driven by the site, you've seen some of those being constructed now. The rezoning would take the RD50 zone, which is what is for the single-family lots, to RG15 with a PTD overlay, which is the townhome overlay. There are still 2 single-family lots. Those are being replatted to allow for the adjustment of 8 other single-family lots and 1 street that is being replatted into a large park. With the replat 1, there was much discussion by the county board about including a park amenity with the increased density. Now that they're adding another 134 townhome lots, we've increased that a little bit. Sounds like the car alarm's going off again. At least I don't think it's my car this time. All righty. So that is a quick summary of the development. A couple of the items that we've gone through and reviewed and or had comments from other departments. The first relates to traffic and access. They will be realigning Josephine Street, which is the main east-west road through the development slightly. They're going to add a couple curves to allow for a little better layout on a couple of the townhome lots. The alignment is occurring between 206th and 207th. And just like with replat 1, the developer did provide a traffic generation memo, which would update the initial traffic study that looked at turn lanes, access, and road capacity, in addition to traffic signals at both the Harrison and 204th intersection, as well as the Josephine Street and 204th Street intersection. What they found with this addition, combining it with the previous original plat and replat, is that in the morning peak time, that there'd be 5 additional vehicles entering and 13 vehicles exiting in that 1 peak hour. The PM peak had a little less impact to traffic, with still the additional 5 vehicles coming in, no additional out vehicles at that time. One of the questions that Public Works had was how this additional traffic would impact the existing turn lanes. The developer has provided an updated traffic study that addresses that and noted the lengths of turn lanes that would be required with this based on Public Works' quick review and an aerial. The existing turning lanes are closed, so what we have worked out is the developer has to turn in final construction plans for all the roadway improvements anyway. Public Works will work with them at that time just to verify and or require the improvements, any requirements to the turn lanes at that time. The other discussion point, as I had mentioned, is they have converted 1 street and 8 single-family lots into a larger park area. One of the requests was to have a concept plan rather than just showing the outlot on the plan, actually lay out what amenities that park could or may be proposed to include. They have provided that this morning. It has not been reviewed in great detail by staff yet and administration. In addition, since we're right on that border with the Gretna ETJ, we will also send it to the Gretna administrator to have them look at that in relation to their overall master parks plan. But that has been submitted. So if you reviewed the staff recommendations, which were updated, and Kelly, were those, that was placed on there? Yep. So with the additional information that we've received since we put the staff report out last week, we did update our staff recommendation. We are recommending approval of the rezoning on all of the townhome lots from RD 50 to RG 15 with the townhome overlay. We're also recommending approval of the revised preliminary plat, and then approval of the final plat. The items that changed are shown in red on that sheet to address items that have been resolved. So you can see the ones that are crossed out are ones that have been completed and no longer need to be a condition of approval should the Planning Commission wish to move this forward and recommend approval. So the items that remain, we left the concept plan for the park on there just because it has not been reviewed, knowing we're a little ways, we've got that started. They do need to have an updated wastewater service agreement with the city of Gretna. That was the comment from them. They have addressed all other agency and department comments and have addressed the majority of the planning department comments. But we will have you include that. And then the one item that popped up this morning as Kelly and Don and I were reviewing, preparing for this meeting and reading through the RG 15 zoning, single-family attached units, which is what they're proposing these townhomes to be, are a special use under that zoning. We reached out to the developer with the replat 1, where there were also townhome lots. Nobody has any record of a special use permit, so we ask that you also include that they obtain a special use permit through this body prior to this going to county board. Planning staff will facilitate that at your August Planning Commission meeting so that we can keep things moving forward. That is what I wanted to point out for everybody tonight. Does anybody have any questions of me at this time? Perfect. All right, well, let me know if anything comes up. Thank you.
I will now ask a representative of the applicant to make comment on the development.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Jeff Elliott. I'm with Woodsonia Real Estate, 20010 Manderson Street, Omaha, Nebraska. We're here to just appreciate the work that Julie and Kelly and Don and staff have done working with us on this replat. Would be happy to answer any questions that you have. I have nothing further to add over and above what Julie has presented. So, thank you.
I will now open the floor to public comment. As there is no public comment, I will now close the public portion of this. I will now ask for input from the commissioners.
I have a question for Julie. Regarding the park, that's never really come to this board before, but since the county board was interested, maybe we should run interference for them. Is this the whole plan, or is there more to it? Because I can't tell what this is. My eyes are not that good.
Yes, I guess, Kelly, is that loaded? That's probably not loaded on this computer where it could blow up the park area.
And the comment in the staff report about having a pretty severe grade.
Right.
Steep parks end up being wild grass, not parks.
No, and what they've got laid out there when you zoom in on the little rectangle is there is a playground set up in the middle, aimed mostly at ages 5 to 12 is what it was noted. There is a picnic shelter at the northern end. It's noted as open space. And then at the southern end, it is shown as open. There's a couple other picnic tables and some walks and things cutting through. It would be anticipated as they develop that, the upper spot, if it's open space, would be leveled out. You'd probably have a little bit of a steeper grade in between. Yeah, kind of terrace it out and step it down to address the grade. They have updated their grading plans. That was one of the planning comments, to provide a little more information. And the contours look a lot better after the grading than it did before. And I think if you go out there and you look at it, it doesn't look as scary as the contours make it look on plans as well.
That was kind of part two of the question, the preliminary plat and grading plan. I couldn't find, are those 2-foot contours, 5-foot contours? I couldn't find them labeled. I don't know if it just
Well,
got,
and the proposed didn't have labels. That was my comment.
yeah,
But I believe they're 5 foot. Is that?
They're 2 foot.
Oh, they're 2 foot.
2-footers, okay.
Sorry. I figured I'd ask somebody who knows the plan a lot better than I do.
Brad Hike with TD2 10836 Old Mill Road, engineers for the project for Woodsonia. Those are 2-foot contours. We did revise the grading plan through the park area to be about 2% through most of it. At the north end, it gets to 3 or 4%. But we plan to modify that, like Julie said, and put a little terrace so there's it's flatter throughout.
Yeah, and then if you have a little more vertical area, you could also add a little climbing wall and things like that kids love to do too.
Field turf, soccer goals.
Perfect. All right, anything else from anybody?
I
Maybe
had a
just,
question on the park as well.
Okay.
Will the Outlot A be owned by the SID or the HOA in future?
It's my understanding it'd be the HOA, and that would be included in the development agreement.
Okay.
When that's prepared by Ms. Kayla.
I got one more probably for Don or Kelly, just due to time. The new H special permit required for single-family attached in the RG 15. Is that kind of just an oops, we missed it? Or do we need to change the uses in that? Or, because to me, when I think special permit, it's something atypical. So why are we putting so many single-family attached in an area you gotta have a special permit to build a house? That seems odd.
Well, I think at the time that RG 15 was created, it was, maybe the push in development was multifamily. Now we're single-family attached for affordability, but still our regulations state multifamily as a permitted use and single-family attached, which, maybe 10, 12, how many years ago,
Yep.
was not as common. So
Maybe something to fix
Exactly.
in the zoning regs as we go forward.
exactly.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Are there any further comments from the commissioners? I will then ask for a motion.
If there's no further discussion, I'd make a motion to approve of the rezoning from RD 50 two-family residential district to RG 15 PTD general district plan townhouse development on the property as set forth in the application, all subject to the comments and attachments in the planning department recommendation report, as the proposal with existing conditions meets the intent of the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and the zoning regulations.
Second.
Please vote. Eight yeas, 2 absent, Weiss and Preston. Motion carried.
Mr. Chair, I'd also make a recommendation to approve the revised preliminary plat as it is for the subdivision known as Sunset Meadows on the property as described in the application, all subject to the comments and attachments in the planning department recommendation report, as the proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
Please vote. 8 yeas, 2 absent, Weiss and Preston, motion carries.
Mr. Chair, I'd also make a motion to approve of the final plat of the subdivision of lots as set forth in the application, all in Sunset Meadows, a subdivision in Sarpy County, Nebraska, subject to the 4 items as set forth in the application, which are currently shown as items C, E, G, and H in our revised application, as this proposal is consistent with the Sarpy County Comprehensive Plan and meets the intent of the Sarpy County zoning and subdivision regulations.
Second.
Please vote. Seven yeas, 1 nay, GIF, 2 absent.
There's nothing here for me to click on, but I vote for it.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
so change that one.
I'll change that for you then.
Okay.
There we go.
So we have 8 yeas, 2 absent, Weiss and Preston, motion carries.
I will now close the public portion of our meeting tonight. Do the commissioners have any reports? Before we go to planning department report, I think we have a new commissioner. Frank, if you want to introduce yourself, we'd appreciate it.
Okay. Frank Mattia, live in the city of Papillion, SID, Shadow Lake. I was on the Board of Adjustment. Now I'm here.
Welcome.
Moving up.
Moving on. Does the planning department have a report?
Yes, we will have a meeting next month. We currently have 4 items on the agenda. So, mark your calendar, please.
It's just not a first meeting if it doesn't involve doggy daycares or explosive devices at Corey's. Well, one's coming next month. There you go.
There we go.
So,
Okay, if there's no further items, I declare this meeting adjourned.